Hey guys, my name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And if you caught my video on the best horror movies on Hulu, thank you so much. You are the very best. I figured it's probably time for an update on that. I'm putting together a guide to Huluween for you guys, don't worry. But I figured in the meantime, we should talk about the best thrillers on Hulu. And, you know, the biggest complaint with the last video was things come and go like crazy. And so, for that reason, we're going to be talking about a top 9 instead of a top 10. For anyone interested, I did want to talk about The Frozen Ground. That moved to Netflix. It's been trending over there, so hopefully everyone's already watched it. I'm sure you have. I like that movie. It was on Hulu and Netflix for a little bit there and then just disappeared. So let's hope the rest of these don't. With that out of the way, let's talk about the top 9 thrillers that you can watch on Hulu right now. Number 9 is A Perfect Murder, a 90s remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder that stars Michael Douglas as a man who plans the murder of his own wife, played by Gwyneth Paltrow. And you know he's a sick bastard because he gets her side boo, Viggo Mortensen, to do the dirty deed. Now I know what you're thinking. Why on earth am I listening to a grown man recommend A Perfect Murder to me? Well, I saw it when I was a youngin', before I saw Dial M for Murder, and to be perfectly honest, Dial M for Murder just feels way too much like a stage play to me. I don't think it utilizes the format of film enough. A Perfect Murder? Far from perfect. That's for sure. It is pure 90s cheese though. It's got Gwyneth, it's got Viggo, it's got Michael Douglas, who never found an erotic thriller that he didn't love. Truly, he's in every single one of them. I know it's not for everyone, it's at the bottom of the list for a reason, so don't worry, we got 8 more much better movies to talk about. Number 8 is Black Rock, a rape revenge thriller from director Katie Aselton that's about 3 female friends who go to a remote island for a camping trip when they bump into a trio of military buddies on a hunting trip. When one tries to rape another, it turns into an all-out battle for survival between the two groups. And what I really enjoy about this movie is that it doesn't just feel like boys versus girls battle royale. I think on paper that's what it might sound like, but I think Katie Aselton does a great job not just acting alongside Lake Bell and Kate Bosworth, but also setting the proper tone for this movie. It works really well. I know it's a mumblecore thriller, so you'll find it boring and uneventful, I'm sure, but I think this is a very stripped-to-the-bone survival thriller that really shows what people do when faced with danger. Like, if you try to kill me on a remote island, I will straight up claw your damn eyes out. Don't try it. Number 7 is A Stir of Echoes, a psychological suspense mystery that stars Kevin Bacon as a working-class man in Chicago who is hypnotized by his sister-in-law, and it opens him up to the supernatural world. He begins having these visions of a murder in his neighborhood, and it will drive him insane if he doesn't crack the case. I think we've seen a few flicks by now that have a supernatural start that leads into a sort of true crimey plot, so it might feel a little played out to some, but I really appreciate the way that this movie spotlights real-world horrors. And this was written and directed by David Koepp, who recently reteamed with Kevin Bacon on that garbage You Should Have Left movie, You Should Have Never Made It movie. Don't watch that. Watch this instead. This is the one that holds up over 20 years later. I think because this came out around the same time as The Sixth Sense, and there are some similarities between the two, this was deemed just the bad one, but I think there's plenty of room for us to enjoy both of them. Number 6 is The Clove Hitch Killer, a serial killer thriller that you're probably familiar with seeing by now on these list videos at this point, and I just got around to it, and I gotta say, yep, it's pretty damn good. Tyler is a Boy Scout who believes a spat of unsolved murders in his small town may be linked to his father, a church-going family man. Yep, he did it. This is another one that touches on those real-world horrors, so if you're into true crime and scary movies, this should hit that sweet spot for you. I thought this was just going to be a basic murder investigation movie, but I think it works as a coming-of-age story as well as a serial killer movie. It isn't exactly action-packed or anything. You kind of know exactly how this movie's going to play out, but I still have to say, It's definitely worth the hype. Check it out. Number 5 is The Nightingale, another rape revenge thriller, also directed by a woman, but I think this one really shows that the subgenre actually has something to say. Claire is an Irish convict wife and mother serving a sentence in early 1800s Tasmania as British officers colonize the territory. When everything is ripped from her, Claire goes on a mission of revenge against those who have wronged her. Obviously, there are a lot of intricacies to the story, and I will let you discover the movie for yourself, but we've seen a lot of these revenge tales played out before in many variations. This one is told with such darkness, it really forces the message to sink in. Rape is already such a difficult topic to begin with, but the way that it is handled in this movie is so honest, it's almost casual. It really shows you the way that we need to be handling this problem. The Nightingale also touches on racism and the horrors of colonization and the systems that people have to work through in order to get by. I know, it only gets worse. This is probably one of the darkest movies I've ever seen, and I know you're like, why are you going on and on and on about this movie that I am never gonna watch? Stop it, I'm not gonna watch it. I think The Nightingale is so powerful, it demands to be seen, even if you only watch it once. Number 4 is A Quiet Place. Yes, let's lighten it up just a little bit with A Quiet Place. You know it's getting real when the intense monster movie is the fun one. A Quiet Place follows the Abbott family, who are trying to survive after aliens invade Earth and hunt their prey by detecting sound. They must try to remain as quiet as possible over the course of one night of terror as the creatures creep closer to the family farm. I had a straight up existential crisis the other day while Blu-ray shopping, and I realized that, you know, if things were different, A Quiet Place 2 would already be on Blu-ray. So, you know, if you're just trying to stay sane with a familiar favorite, A Quiet Place is also on Amazon Prime right now, in case it disappears for whatever reason. Number 3 is The Guilty, a Danish dramatic thriller about an emergency services operator who gets a call from a woman who has been abducted and stuck in a car with her perpetrator. The film plays out in real time as the operator tries to find the woman and find out what's happening. It's like that Halle Berry movie, if it were better. I actually kind of like that Halle Berry movie. But the only thing I think holding The Guilty back is that there is this redemption arc subplot for the main character that I think is really just there to stretch out the movie to a feature-length runtime. Maybe it would have been better as an hour-long thing. We really need to have some program that's basically the Twilight Zone of today, where people can just make like hour-long random movies. I really want that to exist. Please, someone do it. I will warn you guys, I know it's not going to work for everyone. There is a twist that changes things in the movie. I'll just give you that. And it definitely works for me because I think it shows that a lot of crimes hit closer to home than you might think. Number 2 is Phoenix Forgotten, a found footage sci-fi thriller about the Phoenix Lights incident that occurred in 1997. For anyone who doesn't know, there was this one night where there was this series of UFO sightings from Nevada to Mexico. Whether or not you believe in UFOs, this movie certainly does. The film follows 3 teenagers who disappear after heading into the desert to investigate the paranormal phenomenon. The film is told through videotapes recorded by the teenagers before their disappearances, as well as contemporary videos shot by one of the sisters of the missing. It's a slow burn and not much happens until the very end, and like found footage movies, there is some poor acting and editing and whatever in that middle stuff, but it's all about the end. The last 20 minutes of this movie, oh my god. Fun fact, this is the movie that actually made me start my YouTube channel. I remember going to see it and I just left the theater and I was filled with so much nerd energy. I just went home, sat in front of my webcam, babbled like this for just a little bit, and then threw it up on YouTube. And things have slightly changed. I'm barely better in terms of quality, but this movie will always hold a special place in my heart because it's the exact type of movie that I want to talk about here on this channel. Something that's maybe overlooked by others or maybe considered to not be the best by others, but it's one that I still think deserves to be talked about and deserves to have its own recognition. So Phoenix Forgotten. Let me know if I'm alone on this one. And number 1 is We Need to Talk About Kevin, a dramatic thriller starring Tilda Swinton as the mother of a disturbed child, Kevin, who displays increasingly violent behavior as he grows up. This movie is so dark, but so good. Again, for true crime fans out there, if you like trying to understand the mind of a serial killer or some just, messed up person, this is such an interesting movie. It's a little hard to talk about without talking about the ending. I'm sure most of you know where this goes. I mean, the whole movie like sets up like, you know, something bad is gonna happen. Something real bad is gonna happen. And it sure as shit does. But I find this so fascinating as a character piece and about the subject matter itself. Like, they really needed to talk about Kevin, like, a lot more. If you made it this far and you just need some more recommendations, I hear you, it's what I'm here for. Crawl is a movie that I can't stop talking about. I think I've included it in every video that I've done on Hulu in the last couple of months. It's just so damn good, you guys. Just watch Crawl. But also Depraved is a modern Frankenstein story that I enjoyed, but you know, it's Frankenstein. You know what you're gonna get. Lords of Chaos is another one that I enjoyed, and I think I covered it in like a what to watch video on Hulu. So I know I've talked about it recently. Whatever. Lords of Chaos. It's good. And Not Body at Brighton Rock. None for Gretchen Wieners with that one. Don't do it. I'm trying to save you. Just don't. Well, guys, that's the end of the video. I somehow managed to record this entire thing with my battery on low. Can you believe it? I think I deserve a like. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, share this video with all of your thriller-loving friends, and if you subscribe, which I would greatly appreciate, make sure you turn on that bell so it actually notifies you when I upload. Otherwise, you'll never see a video again. Thanks again, guys. I greatly appreciate it. That's it for this one, but I won't stop you from watching another.